What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what really moved it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went up 3.71% at 2024 the low, 21.32 the high, so a new 52-week high. A lot of volume being done today, 86.4 million shares being traded, 72.8 is the average. So when it comes to data points, we did have initial jobless claims coming in at 227, forecast of 245. Very good stuff. Of course, this doesn't really justify any earlier cuts, but we did have a lot of Fed speakers throughout the day, and most of which kind of did reiterate that we will be having a fall cut. So even popping over here, the likelihood of a July 30th meeting is pretty much off the table, but September the 17th, you do have a 63.9% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. And for the October 29th, which now I think that it's been 3 Fed speakers all kind of mentioning October or the fall, this is where you do see a 41.3% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut at that stage. So let me know your thoughts on that. That was one of the biggest driving factors that kind of moved the market higher. You did have Trump talking a little bit on tariffs, but honestly, the market didn't seem to care all that much about that. Associated to SoFi, there was no news, no SEC filings or anything like that. When it comes down to shorts, that was rather interesting. So this, I think, added to the volatility today because they did increase 3.81 million shares. 14.38% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 156 mil shares overall being shorted. So shorts are not going down easy. They are going down fighting. They want to try to suppress at all costs SoFi to kind of slow down on a technical standpoint. So yeah, I think in reality, assuming their upcoming Q2 earnings hits a home run, all the key metrics, then essentially, yeah, I would see a very nice squeeze. But unless, you never know, shorts know something that the broader market doesn't. I don't know. Let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from that, though, one thing that also did move SoFi was couple new ratings. So 2 were posted after hours today, so most likely that will affect tomorrow, but you also did have one that was posted after hours yesterday that was affected today. So you did have a $13 sell KBW, Tim, who has a 73% success rating, which to be fair is a pretty good success rating, but still $13 sell on SoFi is rather crazy. And then aside from that, though, you did have 2 that were posted after hours today. One was a $16 hold, JP Morgan, Reginald, who has a 52% success rating. Then you did also have a $11 sell, Morgan Stanley, and this analyst has a 43% success rating. Honestly, this always does baffle me. It does not make sense why analysts give ratings prior to their earnings. Like, we're still 2 weeks out. Even this week, it doesn't make sense. Normally what they do is 1 week prior, but all of this is absolutely craziness. And in my opinion, the only reason why any of these analysts are coming out of the woodwork is to manipulate the stock price, to try to bring it down. Because of course, if analysts are out there saying, hey, SoFi is currently trading at 21, but it should be worth, like, let's say 11, 13, 16. What does the market usually think? It causes a pullback. So I think you'll see some additional volatility over the next little bit. One thing I do want to bring up, though, popping over to 𝗪𝗧𝗧, which was posted after hours yesterday. This looks like was the only rating that they did give. Last one was on the, looks like June the 12th. That was Bank Corp, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, I think even looking back at Lending Club, they are very bullish on Lending Club, but oddly enough for SoFi, they seem to hate it. Their last rating on SoFi was in January, so January 2nd, 2025, when they did downgrade it. And at the time, it was $15.20, and they gave a $8 price target. So if anyone's out there saying that this is not manipulation or just whatever, like, they are this is craziness. So yeah, I don't know why this analyst has something against SoFi, because other than Triumph, they don't give any other sell ratings. So let me know your thoughts on that. So just be aware that these 2 ones that did get posted after hours today will affect tomorrow. So you have $11 Morgan Stanley and 16. So logically doesn't make all that much sense. But aside from that, you had 69 million in calls, 13 million in puts, 45% of all the options being done bullish in nature. So a nice change of events, because the last couple of trading days you did have majority being bearish, so people are back at being optimistic with SoFi, of course, with it as well hitting a new 52-week high today. Aside from that, looking at the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around, it looks as though around that 21 to 21.50, so somewhat peaked given where it did close. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub pretty much 19 to $20 range. So at the end of the day, a little bit more downside, but SoFi is honestly kicked ass. Tomorrow is going to be Friday, so just take note of this. So this is all the open interest. So you do have 17,000 at that 20, 26,000 at that 21, and then no other substantial walls that shorts might try to manipulate it. So near the end of the day tomorrow, if SoFi is close to 20 or 21 or even let's say 21.50, you might see a little bit of extra activity coming from shorts. Aside from all of that though, these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. So a lot of big transactions, 1.1, 4.1, 1.5. So a lot of big money was getting into SoFi. This one right here, 1.4 million shares, works out to be $29.4 million in premiums. And then throughout the day, you had a lot of big transactions as well. So it's good to see, as I've always stated, whenever you have stocks being moved higher or potentially lower because of algorithmic trading, I don't like that because it's kind of hollow. But this right here, what has been truly happening with SoFi is a legitimate rally. It's not artificial, it's not pumped up whatever else. This is actual institutions FOMOing into SoFi. Obviously it'll come down to their Q2 numbers to see if it justifies this current multiple, but I do believe that it should kind of stay around these levels. Aside from that, with it at $20.97 where it did close, it is between this R3 and this R2, so it was able to successfully get above this 20.34, and this is something I did bring up during my pre-market, that point right there was going to be that key make it or break it. Yesterday it kind of did struggle with that. Today it just easily blew past it, quite easily in fact. So tomorrow you'll kind of just watch for 22.57. It is a little bit far-fetched to see that being hit, but still that's going to be the next strong target / resistance. Aside from the analyst ratings, no real articles coming out associated to SoFi. Aside from that, on the actual chart, as I've signaled, there's not really much negatives to bring up on the chart itself, other than stochastic RSI, it being relatively overbought. So every stock is pretty much at that stage right now. So let me know your viewpoint. Are you buying into SoFi? Are you locking in profits? Do you think that this is like sustainable, and why do you think that this is occurring? Like I said in, I think it was 2 videos or 3 videos ago, one reason that this could be as high as it is because of SoFi getting more of a tech multiple, because they did announce a lot of big updates to SoFi Invest, and as well they are going to be having crypto coming out fairly soon. And in case you do not know, Bitcoin also did hit a all-time high today. So again, any institution kind of dabbling with crypto is going to get a additional bump up. So I think that's some of the reasons why, and plus just SoFi historically does always run up leading into the earnings, as I've kind of said in a previous video. So pretty exciting times are in the foreseeable future. Let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I do give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.